the Infosys co-founder, who is trying to make even 70 hours work a week a thing.
The Prime Minister of the country sleeps only 4 hours a night and still runs the whole country.
Take Ayurveda for a second. It doesn't treat sleeplessness as a random glitch, it's a dosha imbalance.
Lack of sleep is also linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular issues, obesity, and even diabetes.
Hi everyone, welcome to Notiwana, a next-gen wellness podcast by EJournaling, a place where we talk and discuss about modern lifestyle issues through the lens of science. I'm your host Ashutosh, and as always joined by Apurva and Muskan. Today we are diving into a topic that's as universal as breathing, yet somehow still a mystery to many. Sleep. You might be feeling what's so special about sleep. I mean, we all take up this activity on a day to day basis. Before proceeding further, I would like to tell you one startling fact. Over 16% of the global population struggles with insomnia, a disease where people suffer from poor quality sleep. And imagine the gravity of the problem. India represents close to 18% of the global population, while China almost 17%. So we are talking about a similar population size nation, all tossing and turning at night due to poor sleep. And this is happening almost in all probability because of our modern lifestyle. So we all have been scrolling our social media, being watching OTT, always browsing our phone. So not a guilt trip though. I mean, we all have been there, or we all have been doing these things in today's time. So today we are unpacking just how much technology, FOMO, and our always on culture are hijacking not just our evenings but our health also. In this episode, we will explore what sleep really is, why it is non negotiable for your mind and body, and what happens when you treat sleep like a side hustle instead of the priority it should be. In this discussion, Apurva and Muskan will help in unpacking the science, the systems, and of course the stories behind those sleepless nights. Both of them bring commendable experience in their respective fields, from cognitive science and wellness as well as nutrition domains. I can't wait to hear what they have to say. Apurva.
Hi guys, it's Apurva again. I'm a writer and researcher here at EJournaling with nearly 8 years of industry experience. I've been working in the health and wellness space for the past 3 years, and as a published author, I love diving deep into human behavior, journaling, and storytelling, especially through writing and film. Okay, so I have to start with this. In the past 2 years, I've seen this weird trend, if one can call it that, cropping up around sleep deprivation. Like suddenly, it's cool to barely sleep. I read this on an Instagram post. The Prime Minister of the country sleeps only 4 hours a night and still runs the whole country. I mean, okay, but it shouldn't be aspirational, right? I've even heard my friends casually brag that they haven't slept in 2 days. Like it's some badge of honor. But how is that good for anyone? Science says it's not just unhealthy, it's dangerous. Sleep, is foundational. When we don't get enough of it, our brain literally starts malfunctioning. Cognitive abilities drop, emotional regulations go haywire, and we become more prone to anxiety and depression. The prefrontal cortex gets sluggish and our decision making is threatened. Lack of sleep is also linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular issues, obesity, and even diabetes. And I'm sure Muskan can tell us more on that. Also, I believe this whole glorification of sleeplessness is a marketing tactic too, a carefully constructed narrative that sells a particular lifestyle. It's the generalization of a cherry picked, unsustainable model. And slowly, it builds a kind of societal legitimacy around the grind. But again, at what cost?
That is something to think about. Hi everyone, I'm Muskan. I'm a food science researcher currently pursuing my PhD at University of Delhi, where I focus on sustainable food innovations. I've also worked with global food companies like PepsiCo, And my passion is really about decoding how what we eat shapes not just our health, but also the way we live and care for the planet. Okay, so sleep isn't one long continuous nap. It's actually made up of cycles. Each one plays a specific role. There are two major type of sleep your body alternates between. So the first one is non-REM sleep. This is the slow, deep, and quiet part of the night. It's when your body handles the physical stuff like muscle recovery, tissue repair, or even immune function. Then comes the REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep. This is where your mind becomes highly active. You dream, and your brain processes emotions and store memories, and solving problem comes into this sleep. Now, one full sleep cycle from non-REM to deep sleep and back to REM takes about 90 minutes. And we need around 4 to 6 cycles every night for our brain and body to really function well. But when these cycles get cut short, you wake up very sluggish, impulsive, and out of balance. And also, your hunger hormones go haywire, and suddenly the junk food feels irresistible. Over time, this kind of disruption messes with your metabolism, insulin response, and even fertility. And here's the wild thing after just one night of poor sleep, it was found that people ate an average of 380 extra calories the next day. That's not lack of discipline, that's your hormone going rogue. So, this explains why those 2 a.m. fries feel like a love at first bite.
So, Muskan, can you highlight any other factors that mess with our REM sleep?
Yeah, so one big factor is what we eat. But before we dive into the specifics, let's zoom out a bit. Sleep isn't a shutdown, it's a biologically active process actually. Your body is cleaning, healing, and also balancing hormones, all while you're passed out. And what fuels all of that? There are three things actually: the food you eat, when you eat it, and how your body digests it. Even Ayurveda, one of the world's oldest health sciences, recognized this way long ago. Like it placed sleep, which is called nidra, as one of the three pillars of life, along with food, which is ahara, and balanced lifestyle, which is called vihara or brahmacharya. So, even if one of these pillars weaken, your physical and mental health becomes to crumble.
Okay. So I was going through a research paper, and that paper has highlighted that nearly 7 out of 10 Gen Z users, that's almost, 70%, are on their phones within half an hour of bedtime. And let's be honest, plenty of us are doom scrolling in today's time in bed, convincing ourselves we are winding down. So it's a new pandemic, revenge bedtime procrastination. And it's like I deserve to scroll for 2 hours because I have worked all day long. The problem, you see that blue light in the mobile phone. It messes with our hormones that tells body it's time to sleep. That's melatonin hormone.
Yeah, that's totally relatable. But here's the thing, your body doesn't see the difference between doom scrolling and digestion chaos. And that brings me to something we call chrononutrition. It is basically eating in sync with your body's natural clock. So when you eat too late or skip meals, you're not just messing with digestion, you're throwing off your entire circadian rhythm. That means your melatonin release gets delayed and your sleep feels fragmented.
I mean, again, I say this at the risk of repeating myself. Suddenly, sleeping less has become this weird proof of ambition. There's this rampant hustle culture myth that sleep is for the weak. People idolize sleepless CEOs and politicians. Like, are we serious? Back in the day, Even warriors knew better than not to mess with the bedtime. Battles paused when the sun went down. That's how important sleep is. And now we are all just quietly giving into the hustle culture. Also, let's just talk stats for a second. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends that teens and young adults get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. But studies in India and globally show that Gen Z averages closer to 6 or even 5.5. Chronic sleep deprivation has been shown to impair immune function and has a direct correlation with burnout, especially in high stress fields like law, medicine, and tech.
That is something fascinating. So that reminded me that, you know, our gut is sometimes called the second brain, and for a good reason, actually. So, nearly 90% of your serotonin, which is your feel good hormone, is produced there. If your gut health is off, it's not just digestion that suffers. Your sleep, mood, and even craving start spiraling. And you know, Ayurveda and modern sciences, those centuries apart, are actually pointing to the same truth. Take Ayurveda for a second. It doesn't treat sleeplessness as a random glitch. It's a dosha imbalance. Like if you are dealing with racing thoughts, restlessness, and can't switch off at night, that is a classic vata sign. The fix? Warm, grounding foods like a comforting bowl of khichdi with ghee or a glass of turmeric milk before bed. And if you wake up with acidity or irritability at 2 or 3 a.m., that's a pitta flare. Ayurveda would nudge you towards cooling meal like fennel tea, maybe even a spoon of gulkan. And if you feel heavy and sluggish even after 9 hours of sleep, that's your cuff. And advice there is light, early dinners to reset your system. And now let's zoom into the modern sleep science. So, when you're sleep deprived, your hunger hormones go haywire, your ghrelin shoots up, leptin drops, so you crave more food but feel less satisfied. And also, the cortisol rises, delaying your melatonin, your natural sleep signal. And on top of that, your gut microbiomes get disrupted. So the very microbes that helps make serotonin and GABA, both critical for calm sleep, are thrown off balance. So whether it's your nani saying drink haldi doodh or a neuroscientist prescribing magnesium and serotonin rich foods, the logic is same.
That's quite insightful from both of you. But I have something to say here. I mean, have you ever found yourself unable to sleep right after a tough exam or a massive, work presentation or a big project? Actually, I noticed a weird pattern in myself in the past. Like after finishing something very intense, I expect to crash or take rest. But not being able to do it, I'm lying awake for hours. And even when I am done, I am free, I know everything is has been finished, but my brain just won't shut off. And why does that happen? Could you please highlight that?
That's actually a real thing. It's called cortisol carryover. So during high stress events, your body produces cortisol and adrenaline, which helps you to stay alert and focused. But once the event ends, those levels don't drop instantly. So even when you want to relax, your body is still in fight or flight mode. In fact, people who struggle with post deadline insomnia benefit a lot from sleep hygiene rituals, like a light magnesium rich snack, say banana or almond butter, and reducing screen exposure, even using journaling to help the brain log off.
So let's bust a few myths while we are at it. I need melatonin gummies to sleep.
Not always. Ghee, banana, and curd can work wonders too.
Skipping dinner helps me lose weight.
Nope. It often leads to late night cravings and poorer sleep.
Neuroscientist Matthew Walker, author of Why We Sleep, did studies with elite athletes and showed that just one extra hour of sleep a night improved sprint times, reaction speeds, and mood significantly. So, sleep isn't laziness, it's performance fuel.
True. I mean, we got these big names like Mr. Narayan Murthy, the Infosys co-founder, who is trying to make even 70 hours work a week a thing. Or L&T chairman Mr. Subramaniam pushing for 90 hours work a week. Or right now Maharashtra government is pushing for 10 hours per day. I mean, it's quite an unsustainable, unhealthy model and unscientific too. So, on a lighter note, that does not mean one should oversleep. Like, Bangladesh pacer Taskin Ahmad, who missed the T20 World Cup because of that only. I mean, he overslept that day. So, moving forward, I would say, where does Gen Z go from here? First, we need to shift narrative. Productivity is not about being busy 24 by 7. It's about sustainable energy, pure creativity, and leisure focus, all of which depend on good sleep. That means to rewrite the productivity narrative, it is not about stuffing every hour with work. There is this myth that if you are not sacrificing sleep, you are not working enough. In reality, the most high performing people out there actually protect their sleep fiercely and they know it's their superpower. So they treat it as non negotiable. It's time for all of us to rethink what rest means because sleep isn't laziness, it's biology, it's protection, it's regeneration. So maybe tonight, resist the urge to doom scroll, shut the laptop, dim the light, and reclaim the sleep you deserve.
Start small. A regular sleep schedule, no screens an hour before bed, and making your bedroom a calm, cool, and dark sleep haven. And yes, even if your job is stressful, 7 hours isn't a luxury, it's a biological necessity.
Also, write down when you went to bed and what you ate before and your sleep time. It helps you to track patterns. And from a nutrition angle, we often recommend to avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. because it has a 6 to 8 hour half life. Also, avoid heavy, greasy dinners. They take longer to digest and reduces the REM sleep. Also, don't underestimate the food timing. Having a light, warm meal a few hours before bed supports better sleep. Oh, and if you are looking for a bedtime snack that doesn't come in a pill bottle, you can also try my sleep smoothie, which is curd, banana, kiwi, and a pinch of cinnamon. It's rich in serotonin precursors and tastes like a literal dream.
So, before we wrap up, let's leave you with a dose of science backed inspiration. Sleep is not the enemy of success, it's the secret ingredient. Einstein slept 10 hours a night, LeBron James sleeps 12, and they weren't wasting time. They were optimizing their minds. So, if you are listening to this while lying in a bed and scrolling, maybe just close your eyes now. Trust your body, it knows what it needs. This has been Notiwana, Ashutosh here with Apurva and Muskan, reminding you don't hustle your sleep away. Sleep smart, hustle better. Stay curious, stay rested, and remember wellness isn't just about moving, it's about stillness too. Catch you next time. Until then, sweet dream.